Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
A county-wide food drive is underway. It continues through the end of April, helping so many people all around Rockingham County. There are 7 agencies that are recipients of the items that you are donating. And on the line right now, I have Stephanie Trent with the Reidsville Soup Kitchen. So we're going to find out about what they do. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, it's good to talk to you. But first, let's find out about the Reidsville Soup Kitchen. How did that get started, Stephanie?
Mike, about in 1985, the priest at St. Thomas Episcopal Church here in Reidsville, I was on the vestry at the time, which is the governing body of the church. Mm-hmm. And he came to me one night and said, what do you think about a soup kitchen? Well, I didn't know much about a soup kitchen, knew what it did. I just did not know that Reidsville really didn't have one or anywhere in the area.
Yeah. So
we talked and we talked and we talked, and so we started visiting other area soup kitchens that were kind of the same size we are, Reidsville is.
Right.
So having doing that, we got together a small board of some community leaders, and we went from there. We started working in 1985. We opened our doors in 1986, only 3 days a week. We were at the Salvation Army on Barnes Street, where we were away from the people that really needed us. So then St. Thomas allowed us to come into the parish house for 3 years. Then we bought a little piece of land. Most soup kitchens are donated land. We were not so lucky, I hate to say, but or a building. But we were not so lucky, so we fundraised, bought a little lot over on Arlington Street, which is off Moorhead, Street. Had a fundraiser, and we built our own building. Joe King here in town was a contractor who went to First Baptist Church. He did not charge us any. We just paid for materials. We put our own building up with a temporary wall in the back. Well, soon we outgrew that, so he came and made an addition. And so we went from 3 days a week. We were 4 days a week at the church, 5 days a week, and now we're 7 days a week, 364 days a year. And the only day that we're not open is when we have the community Thanksgiving dinner that St. Thomas did that on a regular basis. Yeah. And then on Sunday nights, there are area churches that do an evening meal too, so at 5 o'clock.
Wow.
So we had that going on. So we're pretty busy, and we've done it all on our own from generous donations. We did get a small grant from the Episcopal Church back when we first started, and then we did get some matching money, and I'm trying to think what year that was, probably like 87, from the mayor of Reidsville at the time, and they gave us $10,000 if we raised $10,000. So now we're in the same place we've been since our own location since 1989. That's where we are now.
To hear this story and how it all started, you've come a long way since the mid '80s. You've really accomplished a lot.
Well, and I tell you what was really more so than not, we sent out surveys early in the process. Mm-hmm. And over 60-some% of the people that filled it out, now I'm talking about churches, organizations, individuals, companies, they said that Reidsville did not need a soup kitchen, that there were too many organizations that took care of, and I really do not like this word, those people. And so we met and we looked at those surveys, and I thought, this is just not correct. What we do, our mission is only, Mike, we feed one well-balanced, nutritious meal per day. No, we do not charge for food. We do not charge nobody is paid to fix the food. It is all volunteer except for one person, and I used to do it all, but once I had a child, I could not do it all. So we have one paid employee, and that's our site manager, and she works Monday through Friday for 2 hours a day, and the rest of and of course she has a core of volunteers from the community, and then on Saturdays and Sundays it's operated by churches. So we are very blessed to be where we are when somebody tells you that we don't need you. So that's that's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, I commend you. I think it's wonderful work you're doing, and the need was there, the need is there, and now even more than ever, probably, isn't it?
Well, yes, and people get thrown by, is it what particular spectrum are these folks coming from? And Mike, you would be surprised. It's not just what people call street people or homeless people. These are people that are on fixed incomes and are down on their luck. A lot of them we see come and go as their monetary situation improves. They don't come anymore. But if anybody is down on their luck, we've got alcoholics, we've got past drug addicts, we've got older, we've got some younger ones, we've got women that bring children, especially during the summer. And, of course, now with COVID going on, we've had more children than normal. Mm-hmm. But we just try and get to the masses that ordinarily would be left behind. Does that make sense?
It makes perfectly good sense, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that they don't, it's like they say in the Salvation Army does wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work. But we are just there to feed, and they don't have to have any kind of proof that, like an electric bill or a this, because a lot of them don't have an address, for example, mm-hmm. not a permanent address.
Right.
They're transient, so that's what I'm saying. I think we're a different entity because they can come, walk in that door. We don't ask any questions. We don't want to know what their family life is about. We don't want to know where they go to church. We don't want to know anything other than that they've walked in and they're going to be fed. Mm-hmm. And that's all we do. We don't indoctrinate. We strictly, if they walk through that door, they are fed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad to find out about the Reidsville Soup Kitchen and your roots that go back so many years. And I can't remember you will know this probably exact verse, but it's there. But for the grace of God, go I, something to that. Yeah.
Amen.
Because I understand that there are some people this year who are benefiting from the countywide food drive who last year were volunteering and helping with the food drive. Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah,
and
so we never know.
That.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that too, and I still see people downtown, the gym that I go to, I'm still seeing people, and I said, why don't you come to the soup? Some people are still too proud to go. Mm. And you have to erase that stigma with them, as well as, and a lot of our clients, I like to call them, mm-hmm. They are so appreciative that they always want to do something to repay. So, I might find a couple of dollars on the desk. They will take the trash out. They will sanitize, and more times than not now, of course, with the sanitation situation. Yeah. They really clean the tables, the floors, the chairs, and this is their repay. So, people will say, well, when people ask, is somebody deserving? Well, that's not my call. That's not my judgment. Mm-mm. But I know that there's so many of them that's what they want to do to repay the goodness that's been given them in a bad situation. Mm-hmm. And like you said, there by the grace of God, go I. Yeah. And that's exactly how I feel like what we started. They don't have to have any kind of card to get in the door. They just walk in.
Yeah, okay. I understand.
And they are I hope they're spiritually fed. Now, we do not indoctrinate, like I said. Mm-hmm. I hope they're spiritually fed and physically fed.
Sure, sure. Well,
that's what we're about.
Now, how do you get the money to operate, the food? Where does it come from? And really, how does the countywide food drive help Reidsville Soup Kitchen?
Well, 90%, we do not, and I'm really proud of this too, we do not receive any government money. We do not receive any United Way money. We get, like from the Reidsville Area Foundation, we get donations periodically through the year. Churches have us in there as a line item in their budget. And then it's just by the generosity of this community. That's how we function, and that's how we keep our head above water. It is amazing. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. We don't have to borrow money. Our food is donated. We have to buy, of course, supplies, because we have all throwaway stuff. So mm-hmm. we have to buy supplies, cleaning stuff, and that kind of stuff. But as far as having to go out and buy food, we are very blessed that every once in a while we might have to buy some meat or some hot dogs or hamburgers if we want to do a cookout or something. But everything else is strictly donated by the goodness of this community. And it's amazing.
Well, people do step up and help, don't they? The need is there.
And especially, it's just been tough. It's just been tough, especially these last few years. People are just hurting, and we tend not, it's kind of like on the back street of Reidsville. People will say, well, I don't see the homeless people. Well, to say they're homeless, that they're living out under the elements, that's not so much it. It's that they don't have a home. Mm-hmm. They don't have a place like we have a home.
No place to call home, yeah.
They don't have a place that they can call. They might be with a neighbor. They might be temporarily with a relative, and they're older and they can't take care of their children. It is just not a good. So when I ride on the back street and I see folks like this, and people say, "Well, Stephanie, I'm not seeing what you're seeing." I said, "Yeah, but you're not in the way." When we drive down Main Street of Reidsville, that's not where they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we just kind of have to open our eyes a little bit further, and we'll see.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
We have about a minute and a half left, Stephanie.
Okay.
Tell us again where the Reidsville Soup Kitchen is and your hours and when people can come in and get that food.
Okay. We are at 121 Arlington Street, and like I said, we are off Moorhead. As you're coming down Main Street, where the Wells Fargo Bank is, mm-hmm. you're going to take a left, and we are the immediate first right, and we're a beautiful brick building, and we are there 7 days a week. The volunteers come at 10 to prepare the meal. Then they start feeding at 11, and then they stop at 12. And then on Sundays, they can come again at 5 o'clock and get another meal, because some area churches wanted to add on. Does that make sense? And there was no place to add them on, so they wanted to start the evening meal on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So that's where we are, and we are there every day. And if people want to bring donations there, someone's there. And if you want to, Mike, you can give out my cell number, the number of the soup kitchen number. And we have folks that will meet you down there if the kitchen is closed to take donations. And our P.O. box number is 1562. So if anyone wants to do monetary donations, that's always an option too.
Okay. I am so glad to know about what you're doing, and
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you care.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you care that we're there.
I appreciate your caring and your good heart, and you've been there right from the beginning. And
from the beginning,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Stephanie, for sharing this good news with us.
Thank you for doing this. You're very welcome, and thank you for all you do also.
All right. All the best to you. Thank you.
You too.
Okay.
Take care.
You too.
Bye. Bye-bye.
That's Stephanie Trent. She's with the Reidsville Soup Kitchen, 121 Arlington Street in Reidsville. They're one of the agencies being helped by the countywide food drive, Rockingham County Veterans Coalition Food Pantry, another, Men in Christ in Reidsville, Hands of God in Western Rockingham County, Cooperative Christian Ministries, the Salvation Army in Eden and Reidsville. Thank you for helping. Please go to this website for more information, rkcfooddrive.org, rkcfooddrive.org. Thank you for donating. Look for the boxes all over the county. We need your help, and we appreciate your help in all that you do to help those in need.